Hello, today I will do the poem A Valediction Forbidding Mourning by John Donne. John Donne was a metaphysical poet. The word metaphysical has a sort of negative meaning because meta means above or across, and physical means across the physical world, metaphysical. So it is a spiritual poem which is a valediction. A valediction is the act of saying farewell. So, in the poem, the poet is bidding farewell to his wife and he is forbidding her or asking her not to mourn for his loss, for his absence, not his loss. So, we'll read the poem. So, the poet says, as virtuous men pass mildly away and whisper to their souls to go, while some of their sad friends do say, the breath goes now, and some say no. So the poet takes the image, takes a comparison, makes a comparison between virtuous men, that is, good men, that is, honorable men, those who are good, kind, and so on. So, just as these virtuous men, towards the end of their lives, they pass mildly away. They don't make a show of their passing away. They pass mildly away and they whisper to their souls to go. As they're lying on their deathbeds, they whisper to their souls to leave the body and let them pass away peacefully. There are some onlookers near their bedside, near their death bedside, and those onlookers, their friends, some of them are sad, and they say the breath of the invalid is going, and others who are more hopeful say, no, the breath does not go, that is, the man is still living. So, just as virtuous people ask quietly for their souls to leave the body, the poet says, so let us melt and make no noise. So, he tells his wife that they should melt from each other and make no noise. When they part from each other, when he goes out, they should make no noise. No tear floods, no sigh tempests move. So they should not be a show of strong emotion from them when they part from each other. There should be no floods of tears, no tempests, no storms of sighs to show that they miss each other. To a profanation of our joys, to tell the laity of our love. So it would spoil the joys of their love to tell the the reason why they love each other. The laity of our love is the absolute basis of their love for each other. So they should not examine, they should not introspect, and they should not part from each other uh, and make a big examination of their relationship. So it is better if they were to melt from each other, if they were to separate without any noise. So the poet continues, moving of the earth brings harms and fears. Men reckon what it did and meant. So on the earth, there are so many problems which beset people, and some people have given the reason for all these problems which exist both within the mind and outside the person in his life. So, the reason that some people give is that the moving of the earth brings harms and fears. The very rotation, the very spinning of the earth means that the people who inhabit its surface are subjected to harms and fears by an infinitely greater power than each individual person is. So men have to reckon, they have to measure what harm it has done in the future and what it will mean in the what harm it did in the past and what it will mean in the future. So the very movement of the earth brings such problems. The poet says, but trepidation of the spheres, the greater far, is innocent. He says that the apprehensiveness brought on by the movement of the spheres, the earth, the moon, the sun, and the planets, the apprehensiveness and the problems brought on by the spheres is great, but it is innocent. It does things innocently without thinking twice. So, this element of cruelty is natural in the spheres, as I say in Kannada, the Grahagatigalu, and the people are subjected to these influences of the spheres, says the poet. Dull sublunary lovers love, whose soul is sense, cannot admit absence, because it doth remove those things which elemented it. So, dull sublunary lovers love. So, the element of love present in the mind of two lovers, one the lover and the other the beloved, this sublunary love, this love which belongs to the earth, it pervades the entire being of the lovers, right down to the depths of their soul, and it gives them an element of being able to deal with many of the problems, because one of the effects of love is to calm a person down. So the soul, which is sense, cannot admit absence. So the poet says that the love in the mind of the lover cannot admit the absence of the beloved, because it doth remove those things which elemented it. So, if the beloved is removed from the lover, then the lover cannot bear it, because the beloved elemented his existence. She made up his existence. She was the reason why he could uh, go about in a state of absolute innocence. So that is the effect of love. So if the beloved is removed, the lover cannot stand it. But the poet tells his wife, but we by a love so much refined that ourselves know not what it is, interassured of the mind, careless, eyes, lips, and hands to miss. So the poet says that the love that exists between his wife and himself is very much more refined than ordinary youthful love, and he doesn't know what parts his love is composed of. He has not introspected and examined the nature of his love. They don't know what it is made up of, but still they are interassured of the mind. Between their minds, there is an assurance, and they say, and he says that that is a poet and his wife, care less eyes, lips, and hands to miss. So, if they were to be separated, for example, when the poet goes off on a journey, they don't care much about missing each other, because our two souls, therefore, which are one, though I must go, and you're not yet a breach but an expansion, like gold to airy thinness beat. So he says the soul, the two souls which exist within himself and his wife, they are one. Though he must leave on some journey or some business to far off lands, he asks her not to endure a breach. It's not a separation, he says, that they're undergoing, but an expansion. The love between them should she should treat as though it were expanded, just as gold can be beaten to a very thin area. This was one iota of gold can be beat to a large extent to an airy thinness, he says, so should she consider his absence as an expansion of their love and not a break in their relationship. If they be two, they are two so as stiff twin compasses are two. So just as a compass is made up of two legs, and the lover and his beloved are like the two legs of a compass. When they, they joined at the tip, and he says to her, thy soul, the fixed foot, makes no show to move, but doth if the other do. So the leg which is in the center, which does not move, is compared to his wife, and the other foot which goes around the central fixed foot, the foot in the center makes no show to move. It does not move itself, but if the other one moves, it also moves. So the husband and the wife are joined together like this, like a compass is joined at the tip. When the husband moves, the wife moves, and they're united for for life. And though it is though it in the center sit, yet when the other far doth roam, it leans and hearkens after it, and grows erect as that comes home. So though this fixed foot of the compass, fixed leg of the compass, and sits in the center, and the other one roams far from the center, when when the one which is going about, when the leg which is going about in the world comes back home, the other in the center grows more erect and more alert to see that, you know, they're going to be united again. Such wilt thou be to me, who must, like the other foot, obliquely run. Thy firmness makes my circle just, and ends me where I begun. So the poet tells his wife that she is like the fixed leg of the compass, and she must, when he runs at an angle to her, when he goes away from her on some business or some work of the on some work he has, when he goes away obliquely, when goes away from her, the firmness of the wife in the center of the circle makes him end where he began. So they will be joined together again when he returns. So whatever problems, whatever things he has to face in life are set right again, and everything becomes all right because the love between husband and wife makes it bearable, makes the problems bearable. So this is the poem, A Valediction Forbidding Mourning, by the metaphysical poet John Donne. Thank you.